Okay, good morning everybody. Today is May 14th and my name is Grant Mehring. We are going to go on a virtual birding tour. What's a virtual birding tour? Well, the dilemma is we've had to cancel our annual bird walk that happens this coming Saturday, and we've been doing it for several years in a row. And so we're going to give you something to look at on the web. So with a virtual bird walk, what we're going to do is we're going to spend a little while, probably an hour, walking around the Forest River Nature Preserve. What this is called is this is an urban woods and prairie location within the Fargo Moorhead, West Fargo Metro. We're south of Fargo, in the just a little north of Oxbow, and we're at an Oxbow of the river. Today we're going to kind of make a loop of the Oxbow, and we're going to look for birds. Well, there are a couple of objectives for today. What are those objectives? First and foremost, today is a migratory bird day. Living here in North Dakota, Minnesota, starting around January, February is when the spring migration actually starts with some of the very earliest birds. But today in May, we have the opportunity to see one of the largest single day counts of migratory birds and local birds of any day of the year. May is a really special time to be watching birds. So right now migration is happening. What is migration? Well, migration is when birds in southern latitudes head north in the spring in the northern hemisphere, in our latitude. Migration would also be in the fall when northern birds head south to escape the cold. There's a lab, the Cornell Lab Birdcast is what they call it. They predict migratory birds every day during migration. Last night into tonight, they predicted around 300 million single birds that were taking off and flying north last night into today. That's a lot of birds, 300 million. And the cool thing is that many of those birds landed here at Forest River. So we're going to go today and go to objective number 2, and we're going to try to find as many birds as we can. But not only to get a big list of a lot of birds, we're going to try to have fun and learn about those birds and study them and take a look at them and kind of learn some fun facts about them. Because every bird's a little different and there's really a lot to see. And every day we get out here, you learn and you see something more. So come along, we're going to take a loop today, and we're going to really have a good time watching birds. So our first step today, we just took a look at this man-made slough that's been here a few years. At this slough, we're hearing and seeing quite a few bird species. So the first ones we've seen, barn swallow, tree swallow, red-winged blackbird. We can hear them, we can see them. Those swallows are particularly interesting because they're just flying all morning, catching insects on the wing. So we did have a blue-winged teal, nice duck out here. We had one that kind of flew from this side of the slough to the other side of the slough. It's not too late to still see ducks during migration, although we're after more of the small birds, the neotropical migrants. We're adding another duck species this morning. Behind me at the far end of the trail, you'll see a male and female wood duck. Wood ducks are a lovely duck species, one of our most brightly colored. You almost envision like a paintbrush painted them. They're that meticulously colored. We're getting into the heart of the Forest River Nature Park here, into the Oxbow. We're on the main road of the old development where there used to be houses in here. And so far, it's continuing to be just a little bit of a cloudy, light fog in the morning. So we're not hearing a ton of bird songs yet, although we're seeing things. But the clouds are burning off, and eventually here in the next maybe half hour or so, we're going to start hearing a lot more bird songs. So at the moment, we're going to walk in and do a loop, and we're going to start looking in the treetops and on the ground for some of the smallest birds we see on migration, those neotropical migrants. And that'd be a really fun bird if we can find a way to get I just love that bird. Let's see, okay, so it's, oh, now it flew up, so it's over here. We just added 2 new species for the morning. We had a flyover of 2 Canada geese. The audio wasn't on, but boy, were they a honking. Very fun. That's why you always got to keep your eyes to the sky. But then we saw our first vireo species. It's called a blue-headed vireo. And I love this blue-headed vireo because it just looks like it's got a pair of white glasses on. And it's just a really nice looking vireo. A little yellowish under, a blue back, and those glasses. Keep an eye out for the blue-headed vireo. A ruby-crowned kinglet. Not sure if you got that bird in there. That's kind of...
Oh, there it is. This won't stay put.
Did you have any luck?
A little.
Just a moment ago, we added 3 species. One is impossible to get the camera on. It's called the ruby-crowned kinglet. It was down low in the thicket, but the ruby-crowned kinglet is constantly moving. It's looking for bugs, it's looking for things to eat, flying all over the place. Really wonderful bird, and if you're really lucky with the ruby-crowned kinglet, you'll see this nice pinkish reddish crown come out. It's hidden under feathers, but every once in a while you see it, and that is a real treat. And then we saw 2 sparrow species. We had a white-throated sparrow, nice white throat, little crown, and a yellow dot on its forehead. And the last sparrow we saw was a Lincoln sparrow, one of my favorite little sparrows. It's got finely dissected streaks on its belly, and just a really neat, dapper-looking sparrow. Behind me and in front of me, we just went through a nice little flock of sparrows. Sparrows are one of those things, a lot of people think we want to see really bright colored birds, the cardinals, the American goldfinches, the reds, the yellows, the blues. But incredibly, there is some really nice diversity and interesting birds in the brown birds, sparrows. This flock of sparrows is mostly white-throated sparrows and Lincoln sparrows, but they were just looking in the undergrowth, trying to find things to eat. Right now, this time of year, if you planted grass seed a week or 2 ago, keep an eye on that, because that is where you'll see sparrows in your yard. Those sparrows, migratory sparrows, love to eat grass seed. Just kind of almost like a pitch for the brown birds. It does not all about the brightly colored birds. Sometimes there's really beautiful brown birds. At the Forest River Nature Park, which we're at today, this is a really interesting kind of experiment in watching nature take over development. What I'm standing on right now is probably the patio or the driveway of an old house that was at the end of this Oxbow development. A beautiful place to live and overlook the river, but with our constant floods, these houses had to be bought out, moved, and torn down. And now we're watching these lots, these vacant lots, being taken over by nature. With a little bit of help from us, getting rid of the invasive trees and weed species, we're seeing a really neat experiment in watching a development being overtaken by nature. And that's really one plug to come out here to the Forest River Nature Park. It is a fun place. You can walk on roads, but you can see kind of it being taken back over by the natural world. Yeah, we're hearing a lot of this 2-pitched whistle, a high-low, and that's the wonderful black-capped chickadee, which is a year-long resident here, but right now it's in its mating season and it's calling a lot, and it's a really nice high-pitched whistle. Something that a kid will really like. My daughters, "Hey Dad, did you hear that?" And it's the whistle of the black-capped chickadee. Really a nice thing. Just never know what might hit you though.
There we go. There.
Did you get that? That's kind of cool. Watching, they're a really neat bird to watch feed. They just kind of go out, grab something, a bug, a dragonfly, and pop back. Here we go. Yeah.
A little lower. There we go.
We just had another new bird species, and it is the mourning dove. Lovely, common bird, and what a wonderful sound they make when you hear them cooing, cooing, cooing in the woods. Always love to see mourning doves. At this point, we've made most of the loop of Forest River, and we're heading back to the parking lot. But this is something that I really believe in about birding that I'd love to mention. When you're just about to pack it up, you're just about to say, I can't see any more bird species, I think I've seen it all, there's always something else out there. You keep going down the road, you work for 5 more minutes, and that's usually when you add the brightest, newest, rarest bird out there. So that's something I always think about. You never quite want to pack it up when you're birding. Give it 5 more minutes, give it 10 more minutes, because that's when you just might see the best bird of the day. Oh, there's a yellow-bellied sapsucker. Get that. Up a little bit. Up a little bit more. Wait, down. Right there.
Oh, there we go. All right, we're good with that.
So the yellow-bellied sapsucker is a migratory woodpecker, one of our only migratory woodpeckers. And one of the fun facts I love about this bird is that when you go and you see a tree out and about that has hundreds, if not thousands of holes ringed around it, that's often from the yellow-bellied sapsucker. So what it's doing is it pecks a nice hole, you know, maybe about the size of a pencil or eraser. It lets the sap from the phloem of the tree run down it, and then a couple minutes later it comes back and it eats the sap out of that hole. Really a unique eating pattern or the way it feeds, and you will see trees like that out and about if you keep your eyes open and you're looking.
Beautiful.
At the end of the bird walk, we did just see a bright orange Baltimore oriole. Worth remembering that if you put out maybe even a half-cut orange on your deck or some jelly, you just might get an oriole to your yard. We're sadly at the end of our bird walk today here at Forest River. We maybe saw somewhere in the range of 20 to 30 bird species, a really nice number for an hour and a half. On the festival day, year in, year out, we might even see 100, 105 different bird species. So what that tells me is if I had a little bit more time, a few extra set of eyes, I might have even seen more bird species. But the real point of today is that we had a really nice bird walk, and I hope that this inspires you to sit in your recliner at the picture window and look at the birds, or to take a walk outside and listen and look for a few birds, maybe even rustle up a pair of old dusty binoculars, take a look out at these birds that we're seeing, and enjoy one of the natural spectacles of the world, which is spring bird migration.